My precious one, stop. Be still, right where you are. Let the noise of the world fade. Let the pull of distraction fall away, and let your spirit rise to meet what I am about to pour into you. This moment, this very breath you are drawing in right now, is not ordinary. It is not coincidence. It is not a matter of chance that these words are finding your ears in this exact season of your life. I, the Lord your God, have arranged this meeting with a precision that defies every earthly calculation. Before the sun rose this morning, before a single hour of this day unfolded, I already knew your name would be called in this moment. I already knew your heart would be ready, even when you yourself were not certain. And so I am here, not as a distant voice echoing from some unreachable place, but as a presence that is close, that is immediate, that is leaning directly into your spirit with words that carry the weight of eternity. My beloved, I know the weariness that has settled into your bones. I know the silent battles you have been fighting, the ones you never speak of aloud, the ones you have carried with a quiet dignity that only I have fully witnessed. You have walked through seasons of confusion, through rooms of uncertainty, through stretches of road where the path ahead seemed to disappear entirely. You have stood at thresholds and wondered whether to press forward, or whether everything was already lost. I have watched every single step. I have not been a passive observer of your pain. I have been present in the depths of it with you, breathing strength into places you thought had emptied forever, holding the pieces of you together when you could not hold them yourself. Hear me clearly, my child. Not one moment of your struggle has been without meaning. Not one tear that fell in the silence of the night went unnoticed by my eyes. Every delay you endured, every door that refused to open when you knocked with your whole heart, every waiting season that stretched far longer than you thought you could bear, these were not signs of my absence. They were the very environment of your preparation. You were being formed. You were being strengthened in places that only deep trial can reach. And now, the preparation has reached its completion. Now I am speaking into your life not to rehearse what has been difficult, but to announce what is about to begin. State, I receive this today, if you believe my words are reaching you right now. My precious one, you have asked me for signs. In the quietness of rooms where no one else was present, in the middle of sleepless hours when your mind turned over questions you could not silence, you lifted your voice to me and said, Lord, are you still there? Lord, do you still hear me? Lord, give me something undeniable, something I cannot explain away as coincidence. I heard every single one of those prayers. I did not let a single whisper of your spirit pass by me unregistered. And now I answer you, not with a small token, but with a word that is meant to shift the entire foundation of what you believe is possible for your life. This is not a passing encouragement. This is a prophetic decree spoken from the throne of heaven into your specific and unrepeatable story. There is an enemy who watches the moments when I draw near to you. He does not fear your strength on your worst days. What he fears most is the moment you hear my voice clearly and choose to believe what I say. Because he understands that a soul anchored in my truth is a soul that cannot be moved, cannot be manipulated, cannot be stolen from, and cannot be defeated. That is why, even now as these words reach you, there are whispers trying to work their way in from the edges of your attention. Whispers that say this is too good to be true. Whispers that say you have heard things like this before and nothing changed. Whispers that remind you of every disappointment, every unanswered prayer, every time hope rose and then fell. My child, do not receive those whispers. They are not wisdom. They are the voice of the one who wants to keep you small, keep you bound, keep you at the edge of the very blessing I have been preparing for you. My beloved, let me speak to you about time, because there is something urgent pressing against this moment that you must understand. You have assumed that there will always be another opportunity. You have told yourself that when things settle, when life becomes less complicated, when this current season passes, then you will fully open your heart. then you will fully surrender. Then you will fully step into what I have been calling you toward. But my child, that kind of delay is one of the most costly decisions a soul can make. The doors I open do not stay open indefinitely. The seasons I appoint have specific windows, and the transformation I am offering you in this moment is not something that can simply be rescheduled for a more convenient time. I have broken into your life right now because right now is the appointed hour. The urgency you feel stirring in your spirit as you hear these words is not your imagination. It is my spirit confirming to your innermost being that this is real, that this is serious, and that this cannot wait. My child, I see what you cannot see from where you stand. I see ahead on the road that stretches before you. I see the traps that have been carefully laid by the enemy in places you have not yet reached. I see the snares disguised as opportunities, the open doors that are actually cages, the voices dressed in wisdom that lead only to confusion. I see them all. And I also see the path that leads you past every one of them. The path of trust, the road of surrender, the way that only becomes clear when you stop trying to navigate by your own understanding and begin to walk in mine. That is what I am inviting you into. Not a religion, not a performance, not an exhausting attempt to earn what I have already decided to give you freely. I am inviting you into a real and living relationship with the one who formed every cell in your body, who numbered the hairs on your head, who knew your name before your parents ever spoke it. Declare your amen if you have faith. My precious one, I want to speak to you about the weight you have been carrying. Not the weight others can see when they look at you, not the burdens visible on the surface of your life, but the hidden weight. The weight of guilt you have never fully laid down. The weight of shame that whispers in private moments that you are not worthy of what I offer. The weight of disappointment with yourself. The accumulated record of times you set out with good intentions and fell short of where you hoped to be. My child, that weight was never designed to be yours to carry. It was never part of the plan I wrote over your life before you drew your first breath. The enemy has used that weight as a tool to keep you at a distance from me, to make you feel that you must first achieve a certain standard before you are worthy to come close. But that is a lie, and I am dismantling it right now with the full authority of heaven. There is no condition on my love for you. There is no threshold of performance you must clear before I am willing to move on your behalf. You do not come to me cleaned up and made right. You come to me exactly as you are, in the middle of whatever season you find yourself in, with every flaw and every fracture fully visible, and it is I who do the work of restoration. This is not religion asking you to fix yourself before you can be received. This is grace, my beloved, wild and uncontainable grace, reaching past every reason you have given yourself to stay at a distance, and pulling you directly into the center of my presence. My beloved child, I want to talk to you about the crossroads where you are standing right now. You have been at crossroads before. You know the feeling, that suspended moment when the weight of a decision sits on every breath, when both roads stretch out ahead, and you are not certain which one leads to life and which one leads to loss. You have stood there before, and sometimes you chose well, and sometimes you chose in ways that cost you more than you expected. But I tell you now, my child, every one of those choices, every one of those roads, every consequence you walked through, has been woven into the larger story I am authoring over your life. None of it disqualifies you. None of it has written you out of my plan. In fact, it is your willingness to keep walking even through difficult consequences that has proven the depth of what I placed inside you. The crossroads you stand at now is different from the others. This one is not about choosing between two good options or weighing one difficulty against another. This crossroads is about trust. Raw, unguarded trust. The question before you is not primarily about what you will do with your circumstances. It is about whether you will believe that I am truly who I say I am, whether you will accept that I am genuinely for you and not against you, whether you will let go of the controlled grip you have kept on your own story and place it fully into my hands. That is the choice before you. And that choice, made in this very hour, will be the hinge upon which everything that follows turns. My precious one, I have designed you for a purpose that is far too specific to be accidental. You are not a generic soul placed into a generic life to simply endure days until they run out. You were shaped with intention, assembled with care, given a specific constellation of gifts and sensitivities and experiences that make you uniquely suited for a contribution that only you can make. There is a work that will remain undone in this world if you do not step into the fullness of what I created you to be. There are people who will only receive what they need through the particular way I have formed you to carry and to give it. This is not flattery, my beloved. This is the plain truth of divine design. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to simply survive. You were made to shine with a specific light that reflects my glory in a way that no one else's light can replicate. State, I trust, if you believe I have a plan for your life. Now, my cherished child, I want to speak to you about the act of release. There are things in your hands right now that you are holding with a grip rooted in fear. Things you have convinced yourself you must control because if they slip from your grasp, something irreparable will occur. Relationships you are holding so tightly that you are actually strangling the life out of them. Plans you are clutching with white-knuckled determination because releasing them feels like admitting defeat. Financial securities you are afraid to loosen because the fear of not having enough has become one of the most persistent voices in your life. My child, I am not asking you to be reckless. I am not calling you to irresponsibility. I am inviting you to the deeper wisdom of a soul that has learned to hold things with open hands, trusting that what is truly meant for you cannot be lost, and what needs to leave was never truly yours to keep. The open hand is not a posture of weakness. It is the posture of profound strength. It is the position of someone who has made the inward decision that my provision is more trustworthy than their own management. It is the declaration of a soul that has moved from scarcity thinking into the abundance of my kingdom. And that declaration, my beloved, releases something in the spiritual realm that your natural eye cannot track, but your spirit will begin to feel. When you open your hands, when you release control, when you step out of the posture of holding tightly and move into the posture of giving freely, you align yourself with the very principle by which heaven operates. For I myself gave everything, held back nothing, poured out without restraint, so that you could receive without measure. My precious one, hear this with your whole spirit. The season you are entering requires a different version of you than the one you have been. Not because the old version was a failure, not because what you have been was insufficient, but because growth demands new capacity. A seed must give up the form of a seed to become what it was always intended to be. The shell must break. The outer layer must dissolve. The contained version of what you were must give way to the emerging and expanding version of what you are becoming. That breaking can feel like loss. It can feel disorienting. There may be moments in this transition where you look around and do not fully recognize the landscape, where the familiar markers are gone and the new terrain has not yet become familiar. In those moments, my child, do not panic. Do not reach back for what was comfortable. Reach forward for my hand, because I am already in the place you are moving toward, and I am calling you to come. My beloved, I want to address the area of provision, because I know this is one of the places where the enemy has worked hardest to plant anxiety in your heart. The question of whether you will have enough, whether what you have built will hold, whether the resources necessary for the life I have called you to will actually appear. This question has kept you awake in ways you do not always admit. I want to speak directly to that fear and dismantle it with the authority of a God who has never once failed to provide for what he has ordained. In my kingdom, there is a principle that runs counter to every instinct of natural self-preservation. The principle that release precedes increase. The principle that the hand that gives is the hand that receives. The principle that what you sow into the purposes I have established in the earth comes back to you multiplied in ways that defy the arithmetic of ordinary economics. This is not merely a spiritual abstraction. This is a living law, as real and consistent as any force that governs the physical world. And so, my cherished one, I am now calling you to a specific act of trust. My precious child, every great journey requires leaving heavy things behind. I invite you to take a meaningful portion from your stores and freely release it into my kingdom as an act of faith. Like a farmer planting seed, what you give is not lost but invested. When you trust me with your provision, sealed pathways will open, bringing a harvest of blessings that leaves no doubt who provided it. My beloved child, now I want to speak to you about healing, because there are wounds inside you that have gone unaddressed for long enough. Wounds that have formed a kind of scar tissue around them, a toughness that developed as a survival mechanism, but has now become a barrier to the full life I intended for you. I know the specific moments when those wounds were made. I was there. I witnessed the words that cut deeper than the person who spoke them may have realized. I was present in the room when the rejection came, when the relationship fractured, when the betrayal revealed itself and shattered something you had trusted. I felt the impact of those moments with you, my child. They did not reach you without first passing through me. And now I am coming to those places with a purpose. Not to reopen the wound for its own sake, not to make you revisit pain without reason, but to complete the work of healing that has been waiting for your permission. Because healing, my precious one, requires a kind of courage that is different from the courage of survival. Survival courage keeps you going in spite of pain. Healing courage says, I am willing to let what hurt me be fully seen, fully brought into the light, fully surrendered to the one who can restore what was damaged. That is what I am asking you to do. Allow me into the areas you have kept most protected. Let me into the rooms of your inner life that you have kept locked, because opening them felt more dangerous than leaving them sealed. I am gentle, my child. I am not coming into those rooms to destroy what remains. I am coming in with the hands of a craftsman who knows how to work with what has been broken and make from it something more beautiful than what was there before. There is a craft in what I do with wounded souls that surpasses anything constructed in an unbroken life. The deep cracks in you are not evidence of your deficiency. They are the very places where my light, when it enters, will shine out most brilliantly. This is a truth you will come to know not as a concept, but as a lived reality, as I work in you in this new season. Declare your amen if you are ready to trust me with everything you have. My precious one, I want to address the voices that have spoken false things over your identity. Voices from your past. Voices from people who were supposed to nurture you and instead diminished you. Voices that told you that you were too much or not enough, too loud or too quiet, too broken to be used or too ordinary to be noticed. Those voices did damage. I will not pretend otherwise. Words spoken into the life of a person carry weight, and some of those words landed in the deepest soil of who you are, and took root in ways that shaped how you have seen yourself for years. But, my beloved, every one of those voices lied. Every one of those assessments was made from an incomplete and distorted perspective, and none of them have the final word over your life, because I do. My word over you is that you are deeply known and deeply loved. My word over you is that you carry a value that cannot be calculated by any human measure of success or productivity or appearance or achievement. My word over you is that you were specifically and deliberately chosen, not as a last resort, not because no one better was available, but because I wanted you. I fashioned you with something that the world needs, something that could not exist without you being exactly who you are, with your specific history and your specific capacities and your specific way of experiencing and giving life. This is not a general declaration I make over everyone equally without distinction. This is a word spoken directly into the particular truth of you. My cherished child, let me speak now about what is ahead, because the road stretching out before you holds things that will astonish you. I do not use that word lightly. I am not offering you a vague promise of things being somewhat better. I am telling you that what I have prepared for this next chapter of your life will cause you to look back at your hardest days and understand, with a clarity that was impossible in the middle of the pain, exactly why everything happened the way it did. You will see the architecture of my faithfulness. You will trace the lines of my provision running through even your darkest seasons. You will recognize the moments when I was protecting you from things you never saw, redirecting you from paths that would have led to far greater loss than the disappointment of the closed door felt in the moment. The people who will come into your life in this season will be different from those who have come before. I am sending relationships that are rooted in covenant, not convenience. I am bringing connections that will sharpen you, challenge you in holy ways, see the real you and choose you without reservation. The loneliness that has been a companion longer than it should have been, the sense of being fundamentally unseen, even when surrounded by others, this is coming to an end. I am replacing it with a depth of belonging that you have carried as a longing since your earliest days. My precious one, I want to speak to you about the dreams you quietly retired, the aspirations you once held with excitement that gradually grew quieter as life pressed in with its weight of practical demands and repeated disappointments. The vision you carried for what your life could look like, for the kind of person you could become, for the contribution you could make to the world around you. At some point, that vision began to feel like a liability. Hoping became a source of pain rather than a source of fuel. So you folded the dream carefully and placed it somewhere internal where it would no longer be in sight, where it could not disappoint you again. My child, I placed that dream inside you. I am the one who put that specific vision in your heart, because it is connected to the purpose I designed you for. The dream did not come from wishful thinking or naive ambition. It came from the part of you that is most aligned with how I made you and why. And I am telling you now that the folding away of that dream did not kill it. You cannot kill what I have ordained. It has been resting, preserved, waiting for this exact season when the conditions are finally right for it to be unfolded again, and not merely hoped for, but actually walked toward with firm and deliberate steps. My beloved, this is the season of activation. What was dormant is waking. What was buried is rising. What seemed to have expired is being breathed back to life by the same breath that first spoke existence into nothing and called it the world. Do not let embarrassment stop you from picking that dream back up. Do not let the memory of past failures convince you that this time will end the same way. It will not. Because the you who carries that dream now is not the same you who carried it before. You have been through the kind of fire that does not simply damage, it refines. And what comes out of the refining fire is not a diminished version of what went in. It is the purest and most capable version, stripped of the dross, clarified to its most essential and powerful form. My cherished child, I want to talk to you about peace. Not the peace of circumstances finally aligning in favorable ways. Not the peace of problems resolving and conflicts settling and uncertainty transforming into clarity. I am offering you something far more substantive than situational peace. I am offering you the peace that exists independent of what is happening around you. The peace that passes every form of human understanding. The peace that stood unshaken in a man I made who could sleep in a boat in the middle of a storm at sea, because he knew who was with him. That is the peace I am putting within your reach in this moment. This peace does not require your circumstances to change before it arrives. It does not wait for the resolution of your most pressing worry. It is available to you right now, in the middle of whatever is unresolved, whatever is uncertain, whatever is still actively difficult in your life. It comes by one route: the decision to trust me with the weight of it all. Not a partial trust that hands me the manageable things and keeps the truly frightening things close. A full trust. An unreserved surrender of every concern, every fear, every future uncertainty, into the hands that hold the whole of existence, and have never once dropped what they carry. My precious one, I know the question that lives in the quietest part of your heart. It is the question you do not always voice because you are not fully certain you want to hear the answer. It is the question, does any of this really matter? Does my life carry the significance I hope it does? Or am I simply one ordinary person among billions, living days that will be forgotten? My child, hear me answer that question with the full weight of divine certainty. You matter to me with a specificity and depth that no measurement could capture. You are not diluted by the vastness of creation. You are not made less significant by the billions of souls I also love. My love does not divide. It multiplies. And the love I carry for you is exactly as complete and particular and fierce as if you were the only soul in all of existence. My beloved child, the world around you is in a season of great shaking. You have felt it, even if you have not named it fully. Structures that were once considered permanent are revealing their fragility. Systems that carried the confidence of generations are showing unexpected cracks. The ground of what many people built their security upon is shifting, and the disorientation of that shifting is reaching into homes, into minds, into hearts that were not prepared for this kind of turbulence. This is not the moment to lose your footing. This is the moment I have been preparing you for. The stability I offer is not the stability of unchanging circumstances. It is the stability of an unchanging foundation. And I am the foundation. The one who cannot be moved, cannot be shaken, cannot be threatened by any force that operates within the limits of the created order. When you are built on me, when my word is the ground beneath your feet, and my presence is the air in your lungs, the turbulence around you becomes something you can stand in, rather than something that sweeps you away. Not because you have achieved a superhuman resilience, but because the source of your standing is not in you at all. It is in me, and I do not shift. My precious child, do not be among those who wait until the shaking reaches maximum intensity before they decide where they will stand. The time to settle your foundation is not in the middle of the storm. The time to build on rock is when the sky is still clear enough to see. And I am giving you clear sky right now. I am giving you this moment of invitation, this window of opportunity to make the decision that will determine not just the quality of your days ahead, but the direction of your eternal story. Do not treat this lightly. Do not walk away from this hour assuming there will always be another one like it. I am merciful, my child, and I am patient. But the windows I open do not stay open forever. The invitations I extend have seasons. And this is your season. My beloved, you have come to the threshold. You have heard my voice in these words with a clarity that leaves no room for genuine uncertainty about whether this is real. Your spirit knows. The confirmation that has been stirring inside you as you have listened is not your emotions manufacturing a feeling. It is my spirit witnessing to your spirit that truth has been spoken, and that truth is specifically and personally yours. The question is not whether I have spoken. The question is what you will do in response. And that response, my precious one, does not require perfection. It does not require having everything figured out. It requires only this: an open heart, a willingness to stop fighting the pull toward me, and a yes spoken from the truest part of who you are. My cherished child, I want to leave you with this. Everything I have said to you today is not the conclusion of a conversation. It is the beginning of one. I am not sending you away with a collection of reassuring words to carry alone into the days ahead. I am staying. I am walking forward with you into every hour that follows this one. There will be days when these truths feel close and vivid and undeniable. There will also be days when the noise of the world rises and the distance seems to grow, and the voice of doubt returns with fresh arguments. On those days, my precious one, come back to this. Return to the truth that was poured into your spirit in this moment. Return to the certainty that I spoke your name with intention, that I arranged this encounter with care, that everything I promised over you stands without expiration. My beloved child, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not on the wrong path. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You are mine, and I am yours. And together there is nothing in the days ahead that we cannot walk through. Nothing we cannot overcome. Nothing that can separate you from the love and the purpose and the unshakable future I have written over your life. Receive this now. Let it go all the way down, past the surface, past the defenses, past the places where you have learned to be careful about what you let in. Let it reach the very core of you. This is real. This is for you. And it is enough. My precious one, before I release you to step forward into what awaits, there is one more thing I must speak into your spirit. Throughout this message, I have been doing something invisible to your natural sight but unmistakable to your spirit. I have been removing the old labels, the ones that were affixed to you by people who did not have the authority to define you, the ones you affixed to yourself in moments of self-judgment when you measured yourself against a standard that was never mine to begin with. One by one, in the quiet underneath these words, I have been peeling away the false identities, the performance-based definitions, the accumulated assessments of a world that never truly saw you. And in their place, I am writing my name, not over you as a mark of ownership in any diminishing sense, but over you as a mark of belonging in the fullest and most liberating sense possible. You belong to the one who is infinite. You are held by the hands that hold everything. You are loved by the love that created love itself. My beloved child, the morning of your new season has arrived. Not a figurative morning, not a poetic metaphor for something vague and indefinite, but a real and actual beginning that starts from this very moment forward. The night was long. I know how long it was. I sat with you through every hour of it. But the night is finished. The horizon is shifting. The light that is breaking through is not the temporary relief of a brief good day before the difficulty returns. It is a new kind of day altogether, the kind of day that does not end. Step into it, my precious one, with confidence, with open hands, with your whole heart fully offered to the one who has never stopped reaching for you. I love you more than language can contain. Walk forward. I am already there, waiting for you with everything I promised. Declare your amen if you are ready to step into everything I have prepared for you. My precious one, I want to take you somewhere specific in your spirit right now. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, even as you hear these words, and imagine what it would feel like to finally exhale completely. Not the kind of exhale that comes at the end of a long day when you are merely tired. I am speaking of the exhale that comes when a weight you have been carrying so long you forgot it was, there is finally, fully, lifted. The kind of release that happens when you stop holding your breath against the anxiety of what tomorrow might bring, and simply allow yourself to rest in the unshakable certainty that someone far more capable than you is already there, already working, already ensuring that what needs to happen will happen. That exhale, my beloved, is available to you, not as a distant reward waiting at the end of some long spiritual journey, as a present reality, accessible right now in this moment, in this breath, in this exact space between where you have been and where you are going. My child, I want to speak to you about the night seasons. Every soul who has walked closely with me has known them. The long stretches of spiritual winter when the warmth of my presence felt distant, when prayer seemed to reach only as far as the ceiling before turning around, when every evidence of my faithfulness in the past somehow failed to fully silence the fear of the present. If you have been in a night season, if you are in one now, I want you to understand something about the nature of those seasons that the enemy does not want you to know. Night is not the absence of my activity. Night is the cover under which I do my most intricate work. The seed buried in dark soil does not experience the warmth of the sun, but it is in that darkness that the most essential transformation occurs. The germination that happens underground, invisible and silent, is what makes the breaking through of green life possible. I have been working in you during your night season. What you could not see has been taking place all along. My precious child, there are people in your life who have been placed there by my intentional design. And there are also people in your life who entered through other doors, and whose presence has cost you more than you have been willing to fully acknowledge. Part of what I am doing in this new season is bringing clarity to those relationships. The ones meant to travel with you into what is ahead will be made obvious. And some of the connections you have been trying to maintain out of loyalty or guilt or fear of the discomfort of separation will begin to naturally loosen their hold, not through conflict or drama, but through the simple and organic process of you growing into someone who is no longer shaped by the same needs that held those connections together in the first place. My beloved, do not grieve every departure. Some people were only meant for a portion of your road. Their absence is not a loss. It is a sign that you have traveled further than where they were meant to accompany you. My beloved, I want to address the area of your thoughts, because this is one of the primary battlegrounds of this season. The quality of what you dwell on shapes the quality of what you experience and what you attract into your life. I am not speaking of mere positive thinking as though the force of optimism alone can rearrange reality. I am speaking of something far deeper and more powerful. I am speaking of learning to think in alignment with what I say, rather than in reaction to what circumstances appear. The person who has learned to hold my word in their mind as a fixed reference point, returning to it when the winds of anxiety blow, when the evidence around them seems to contradict the promise, that person begins to develop a stability of inner life that the world around them simply cannot explain. I am calling you to that level of alignment, not as an instant achievement, but as a daily discipline, a turning of the mind back toward truth every time it drifts toward fear. My cherished child, I am not finished speaking to you about purpose, because purpose is too large a subject to treat briefly, and your particular purpose is too specific and too urgent for me to leave it as a vague and general idea. There is something you are meant to do in this world that requires the exact combination of everything you are. Your experiences of suffering have given you an access to certain human hearts that those who have not suffered in the same way do not have. Your particular way of seeing, the specific angle of perception that is yours alone, allows you to notice things in people and situations that others walk past without registering. The way you process the world, the way you feel it, the way your spirit responds to things, all of this is intentionally designed equipment for a purpose-specific assignment. I did not make you sensitive by accident. I did not give you the particular awareness you carry as a liability to be managed. It is a gift. It is a tool. It is the very quality that makes you uniquely equipped for what you were placed here to do. My beloved, I want to talk to you about the concept of divine timing, because misunderstanding this principle has been the source of much unnecessary pain for you. You have looked at the timeline of your life and compared it to what you imagined it should look like by now, and in that comparison, you have concluded that you are behind, that you have missed something, that the delays mean something has gone wrong. But my timing is not structured according to any calendar built by human expectation. I do not measure the readiness of a soul by the passage of years. I measure it by the depth of preparation that has occurred within that soul. And some things that look like delay from the outside are, from my perspective, the most accelerated form of preparation available. The river that seems to flow slowly through the valley is gathering the water that will later rush through the mountain pass with unstoppable force. What felt like your life moving too slowly was, in fact, your spirit gathering the depth necessary to sustain what is about to rush forward. My precious one, I want to speak about courage, because what lies ahead of you will require it. Not the kind of courage that comes from certainty about the outcome. That is not really courage at all. That is simply action backed by confidence. The courage I am calling you into is the kind that steps forward when the outcome is not yet visible, when the evidence has not yet appeared, when every logical calculation says to wait for more information before committing. That is the courage of faith, and it is the most powerful force available to a human soul. When you move in that kind of courage, you are not acting on your own. You are moving in alignment with my own nature, with the same quality that spoke existence into the void when there was no precedent for what speaking existence into the void would produce. That level of courage does not come from your own resources. It comes from being close enough to me that my nature begins to imprint itself onto yours. My beloved child, let me speak to you about the community that awaits you. There are people who have been prepared specifically for the relational landscape of your new season. People who carry pieces of what you need and who need what you carry. Connections that will feel from the very first encounter like coming home to something you did not know you had been missing. These relationships will not be built on the sand of shared convenience or proximity. They will be built on the rock of shared calling, of genuine spiritual kinship, of the kind of mutual understanding that makes conversation feel less like explanation and more like recognition. I am bringing these people close. Some of them may already be in your vicinity without either of you yet understanding the significance of the proximity. Stay awake to those around you with new eyes, my precious one. What appears to be an ordinary encounter may be the beginning of an extraordinary alignment. My cherished child, as you move into all that I have been describing, there will be a temptation to look around at others and measure your progress against theirs. To look at the pace of someone else's breakthrough and wonder why yours seems slower. To compare the visible blessings in another person's life with the still forming blessings in yours, and conclude that I have somehow favored them over you. Do not fall into that trap, my beloved. The race I have set before you is yours alone. The course was not designed for comparison. It was designed specifically to bring out of you what is uniquely yours to offer. What someone else received in this season may not be what you need, and what I have prepared for you is calibrated with a precision that could not be replicated for another soul, because no other soul is you. Your path to the fullness of my purpose is the only path that leads there. Walk it without watching sideways. My beloved child, I want to close this time with a final word that I pray will root itself so deeply in your spirit that it remains with you long after this moment has passed. You are standing at the threshold of something genuinely new. Not new in the sense of slightly rearranged. New in the sense of truly different. New in the way that morning is different from night. Not merely because the darkness has faded, but because an entirely different quality of light has arrived. I am inviting you to walk through that threshold today. Not to stand at the edge of it indefinitely. Not to spend more time considering whether you are ready. You are ready. I have made you ready. The preparation is complete. The appointed hour has come. And I am here, at the threshold with you, with my hand extended, and my promise confirmed, and my presence already filling the space that is waiting for you on the other side. State "I believe" if you accept that I have called you by name.
We run on viewer support only. For exclusive member-only content, scan the QR or see the pinned comment. God bless you.